Wizards PostGame Live.
This is how we start the show after a win like that. Dubs in the air, final score 119-108. The Wizards get the win. Coach Jimmy Patsos here along with Wes Hall. We'll be joined by the whole crew here in a moment. Coach, look at the performances tonight. Kyle Kuzma leads the show. Bradley Beal does what he does. Daniel Gafford with 18 points. I'm excited about seeing everybody, including KP's return as well. What say you?
You know what? Everyone you said played great. I thought DeLon Wright, from a coaching standpoint, he didn't do anything wrong. He made a lot of nice plays. He made the really critical basket going back door, and he hit a three to start the second half, which was from Bradley Beal. Driving the lane, bounce pass, Wright hits a three, right back in action. They took control in the second half. Beal had a lot of good passes. You shoot 46% from three, Wes, when you're making good passes. And that doesn't mean just making passes. They're on time. They're making the extra pass. They're making the right reads. I thought Kispert was pretty good.
Yeah.
Really, really good team effort. Really important win. And I felt like I don't want to put too much pressure on how much this was important, but you heard Kuzma say
Yeah, he said it.
Kuzma said, might be our biggest game of the year. We came back against the Hawks. We want to make the playoffs. We're chasing the Raptors. And he put it right out there, and they played well. I like when you play well in an important game.
Coach, you can see it on the court, the teamwork, the chemistry working. 30 assists for the Wizards tonight because, like you said, they all understand the importance of this game tonight with Daniel Gafford with 18 points. Glenn Consor actually catching up with Gaff after the game, still in Cap One Arena.
First of all, congratulations. This was a character, gritty, high-energy win for this Washington Wizards team, and the way you're evolving as a player, tell me how you feel right now.
I mean, I feel good. You know, we've been through frustration the first two games coming off of the break. You know, we got the win in Atlanta, and we came out tonight and we just locked in mentally. That was the main thing, coming out and withstanding the full 48 push of the other team, and just staying locked in on defensive end and offensive end. Made a lot of things easy for us.
The last two games, when you beat the Hawks in Atlanta and now you beat Toronto, is a big race, you know, in the middle of the floor there in the Eastern Conference. You just picked up a game on Atlanta. You just picked up a game now on Toronto. What are your thoughts on the energy? Like, it's almost like a newfound energy defensively with this team.
I mean, you know, we've been through the highs and lows. You know, we've been through the injuries, we've been through people being out, so on and so forth. And just staying locked in was the main thing. You know, the storm don't last forever. And that's what we did. We stayed locked in throughout the storm. Now it's sunny days on here and going on.
How great did you feel just having Porzingis back there to help you out?
It was great. You know, it's always good having another big back there protecting the home court. You know, it's a good thing. We keep the energy. He rebounds, he blocks shots, and he spreads the floor. So it's great having a guy like that on the floor with you.
Well, congratulations, Daniel Gafford. Terrific game by you. 18 points. You had a terrific job. You did a terrific job on the boards, and you also changed a whole bunch of shots in there. You're playing with a lot of confidence. Go enjoy this one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Give it up for Daniel Gafford.
Daniel Gafford, can you sign this?
Great job by Glenn Consor. Talking to the landlords. We're joined by Chris and Drew. Guys, I recall you mentioning Wu-Tang during the broadcast, so I figured of all the...
You're going to be asked... add
and Nas.
And
West to the list.
And Nas. All I'm saying...
Y'all invited. I saw Jimmy put his hands up like that. Coach, we got you.
I'm a Libra, too. I know about Cream and Raekwon.
Tell him about it.
I want to talk Illmatic. I know what's going on out there, too.
Yo, so...
keep talking. The more y'all talk, the more free the tickets going to be.
That's what I'm saying. I like more free. Well, Drew, how about we talk some more hoops? Because if there's a Wu-Tang song that I think is appropriate for tonight, it's Triumph. The Wizards doing what they needed to do on their home court against a team that we're going to see in just 48 hours from now.
Hey, listen, this is going to be a series, a small playoff series this week between these two teams, and it's going to go by quarter for quarter. So I think the main objective going forward and the goal should be take it a quarter at a time and win each quarter, as many quarters as possible. And that happened tonight. The Wizards won the first three quarters, and they tied in that fourth quarter. What happened? This is a result, an 11-point win. So you got to take it a quarter at a time with this team since you're playing them in the next couple of days. Look at the tape, make the adjustments you need to make, but guess what? They have to come to you on your home court, so keep laying it down.
The game within the game is taking care of the basketball. And I think that's going to be the key to this mini-series. Washington had 30 assists tonight. They had 9 turnovers, though, in that first half. They cleaned it up, only had 6 in the second. So that tells me the attention to detail was there. This is a very good Toronto's team. They're very handsy, gets into the passing lanes, deflections, yada, yada, yada. We've talked all about that. But I thought the balance that Washington had tonight, we knew they were going to throw the kitchen sink at Bradley Beal. So maybe the adjustment is maybe Brad will be on the uptick in that second game. But to get Gafford to continue to play well. 1 foul tonight by Gafford, guys.
Yes.
When he doesn't foul, look how productive he is out there on the floor. Good to get KP back. But Kyle Kuzma started this show, guys, scoring the first 10 points of the game. For both teams, it was Kuz 10, Raptors nothing. That's actually how the game got started. So if you can kind of just do that again, you're going to give yourself another opportunity Saturday at 5 p.m., by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, so the theme song for Kyle Kuzma would be from Nas, If I Ruled the World, because that's the way that
stop it. Here you go.
I can do it all night long.
Yes,
you know how we get down, but the reason I'm saying it, as we all know, 4 for 9 from deep, and we know he finally missed one when he wanted a heat check from half court, but the confidence is at a maximum tonight, guys.
Yes, it is. I mean, when you saw, my money was on Porzingis coming back after having a couple days off, a couple games off, but hey, it was Kuzma. And now, what does that mean? If you're Nick Nurse,
you're going to be up all night.
Yeah, you up all night because you was thinking about Brad, this entire like last couple of days leading up to this ball game. But who tattooed you? Kyle Kuzma come up. Now all your attention is drawn on him in that first quarter. Then Porzingis starts getting activated. Now you got Gafford dominating you when you're leaving him and not paying attention to him and showing him the respect on the offensive end. So collectively, like I said it the entire year, no matter who this team plays, they have a chance every night, and we've seen that as of late, to come out on top, especially when they have big leads. And look at, I mean, Kuzmania, 30 points tonight, started off hot. Bradley Beal, yeah, he could have did more scoring, but listen, this is what Brad wanted in years past. He used to have to do too much against the Raptors. Now he can offset it with Porzingis scoring and Kyle Kuzma having a night like tonight.
And Drew, I thought that Beal made some good plays at critical times. Maybe not scoring, but his left-handed layup was good. They, West called the timeout. They cut it down to, I think it was 189. Called the time. Beal's still making critical plays, but he seems to be very happy passing it to the other guys.
I mean, yeah, you have to be. I mean, you can't play into the lap of Nick Nurse. He wants you to take those step-back threes with 2 people running at you and nobody on the boards. So Bradley Beal's played against Nick Nurse and those schemes and has a steady, consistent diet of how to dismantle them, and it's with the easy play, and that's the pass.
Guys, I know there were some big moments here in this game that, had us all literally jumping out of our seats. And one thing that I appreciate, Coach, is that when you're in an arena with over like 400 cameras, sometimes you catch people's reaction to those moments.
Yeah, I saw Drew with his abs showing.
Yeah, I was just saying, nothing better than this.
Hey, that's pretty good after the cheeseburger. And not only that, I'm going on 50 years old, so give me a little break. I'm going on 50.
First of all, shout out to
look at Helly. Look at Helly.
Hey, Miller, the tandem backcourt, point guard, Wright and Goodwin, they seem to frustrate Van Fleet a little.
Fred has been struggling since he came back. He was out due to personal reasons. I mean, Jimmy, he can't buy a bucket. And I want to see that as a carryover also is, listen, we can't get him going. You get him going, and all of a sudden you got Anunoby, you got Siakam, you got Barnes, you got... I love what Washington did defensively tonight. He had a lot of corner 3 opportunities that he missed. Clearly he was frustrated. But DeLon Wright, to me, and Jimmy, I've said it really all year long, is a game changer from the defensive end, getting into passing lanes, deflections, steals, but assisting. Look at this. He had double-digit assists tonight, too, not turning the basketball over. So even when Monte Morris is not out there, we want him to get back because when this team is whole, they're really good. DeLon is a very serviceable starting point guard in this league.
Hey, Coach, remember that word when you're talking about serviceable?
Yes, exactly.
Chris and Drew, we appreciate you. I'll let you go with no more music puns for the rest of tonight. I'll wait until Saturday.
September 26th. Wrote it down.
Since y'all showing my abs on TV, I got to hit the gym tomorrow.
You and me both. That is why I stay right here. Guys, we'll see you in 48 hours. Appreciate it.
Can't wait, guys. Thank you.
Coach, one of the things that he mentioned, Fred VanVleet getting activated. Obviously, certain guys have certain nights off. My concern is this. As much as we are enjoying this win that we should, and rightfully so, not getting too high because you're going to see them again, and you know Toronto is going to have a bitter taste in their mouth after a loss like tonight.
Look, I coached in college for a long time, but I played in the CBI. We won it. It was 2 out of 3 against Fresno. Thought everything was going to be fine. Oh, we'll do the same thing. I had news for you. It was Rodney Terry, who's the coach at Texas, and Tyler Johnson was on the team. A couple times in the ACC, you ended the season with a team that you 2 days in the ACC tournament. It's rare that you play a team like this in the same venue.
Yeah.
But they're definitely going to be different coming out there. Toronto doesn't mean the Wizards can't win. They can. I don't think they're going to let us go on a 10-0 run. I think they're going to make somebody besides Kuzma and Beal beat them. Here's the question. Who do you stop and who do you guard? I was most impressive offensively with Daniel Gafford. Not just the dunk. He led the break and dropped it off.
That was nice.
My man is playing well and having fun. If Gafford's going to give you 18, and as Chris said, a lot of us do foul trouble, but Nick Nurse, he's won an NBA title. This is the NBA with his playoff games, but it's a quick turn in the same building. I'm very interested to see how the Wizards handle this after Kyle Kuzma said we knew this was an important game, and they rose up to the challenge and handled it, in my opinion, for all 48 minutes.
That's what it was. Matter of fact, wire to wire, because they've led every single quarter. They tied in the fourth at 30-30. So you're absolutely right, doing the job. But you speak of Kyle Kuzma. It leads me to this question tonight, Wizards fans. You heard him earlier in the game sit down with Chris Miller. They rattled off some nicknames, so we want to know which one of the Kyle Kuzma nicknames do you find to be your favorite? You can go to NBCSportsWashington.com/vote or use that QR code on your screen, and you got options: Corner Kuz, Kuzmania, Clutch Kuz. 4 options. You get to vote. While we do that, we're going to bring in Megan McPeak and get her thoughts on the game as well, because she was there in Capital One Arena. It was a cherry blossom night. Megan, I know you got my rally towel that I asked for, right? Right?
I'm still working on it, guys.
Okay, work in progress.
Okay?
I will accept that.
TBD, TBD.
Not a problem at all. Well, how about we talk about things we know for certain? The productivity of this team with KP coming back from tonight. How invaluable is his presence, the unicorn, for this team?
You know, what he brings is spacing to this team, and that was something going into the games without him that Coach Wes Unseld Jr. said was very important. Remaining space because of what he brings. He's not a prototypical 5 with his size. He's a stretch 5. So his ability in the pick and roll situation to pick and pop, it changes the way that a defense will guard you. So when you have a guy who can screen for you, set you up, but then you don't know if he's going to roll to the basket because KP can do that. But you also don't know if he's going to pick and pop for the 3-point shot. He can also put the ball on the floor. When he gets the ball down low, which they expected to happen tonight was for him to potentially get doubled, he has become much more comfortable and much better at being a facilitator out of that double, especially when it is in that mid to low post area. So what Kristaps Porzingis brings to the team offensively is his spacing. It allows guys like Bradley Beal to get downhill, a DeLon Wright to get downhill, Kyle Kuzma to get downhill, Corey Kispert to slash off the ball as well too. Just what he brings and his ability to space the floor with how potent he can be offensively changes things for this Wizards team. And then as well too, we talked about it in those games he missed when Daniel Gafford got into some foul trouble in a couple of them as well too. His ability to be an extra line of defense for the Wizards, being an extra shot blocker, an extra shot alterer as well too, because we see him go for the Cornet contest, as it's become known as, not necessarily just the shot block. So on both ends of the floor, he adds a lot to this team for them.
When I look at the box score tonight, Megan, I see that the Wizards did their job with the bench scoring, even though we only played 4 people off the bench. But more importantly, as Chris said, limiting the turnovers. One of the things you say as a former point guard, you got to possess the ball. You can't allow the other team to just take advantage of that. Limiting turnovers, especially in the second half, has got to be priority number 1 when we see Toronto again on Saturday night.
Without question. They will practice tomorrow, and they will work on what they saw tonight in film. Nick Nurse, I imagine, will be up all night dealing with the film and preparing for what they're going to look at tomorrow in practice. As we talked about coming into this game, Chris spoke about it throughout the game as well to Drew, this is the best team in the league, if not top 5, in turning teams over, deflections, steals, and as well then points off of turnovers. So the fact that when they do that, they did not have success with regards to getting a win tonight, I imagine they will try and turn things up. We might see them go into that box and 1. We could see them go into a 2-3 zone on Saturday. Whatever they have to do, Nick Nurse has proven. In that championship season in 2019, he proved, Wes, you remember, we were on the road doing arena football games while watching both the Eastern Conference and the NBA Finals series. series, he does not care what people think of him. He will jank up the game if it means they can get a W. So I imagine when it comes to them preparing for Saturday's game, it could be a very different side of things defensively, and the Wizards have to be prepared for it.
Indeed they do, and I do recall those moments. That was fun hanging out in Columbus, Ohio for a couple of those games. But, Coach, to her point, the things that are going to happen are going to probably put the Wizards at the free throw line. And the reason I mention this, the Wizards were 3 for 6 from the charity stripe in the first half. Finished the game 19 for 24. 16 more free throws made in the second half. You've got to make the ones that they give you for free.
Yeah, because they were making theirs. I don't think they missed one. They were 17 for 17. But I like what Megan's saying. Nick Nurse is going to try something different.
Yes.
You know, especially at the beginning of the game. Who he's going to go to. Is Jeff Doughton coming back for the two-way? You know, I told you before, he's a St. John's high school kid that went to Rhode Island. He's kind of a thinner guy, really knew how to play. He's grown up in the G League, and he'll be on that roster full-time next year. But whatever maneuver or whatever chess match he's going to make, I like what Megan's saying. He's not afraid to play a boxing one. Maybe he'll pick up full court a little man. You know, maybe they'll get off DeLon Wright and make him shoot.
True.
But he's been a capable shooter. He's been fantastic. I'm really impressed with him all year long. But Kispert, he deserves some credit. Sure. And Drew and I, it was all catch and shoot threes. Now he's shot faking. He took the ball. He laid it in. He had 10 points.
Yes, he did.
You know, that unit of second team of the Wizards, it's been sort of a potpourri of who's picked it up.
Shout out to potpourri.
There you go. Well, it's been a little bit of everybody, but, you know, tonight he did it. Remember, DeLon Wright is just young. See, he's taking the ball to the basket now. He had a big three to basically put the game away, and you can see his teammates are rooting for him. And then, you know, they didn't need Kendrick Nunn tonight. Denny's always going to be scrappy, and I think Denny. See another kick out three. You got Kispert really going here. You know that was the one that was really the dagger.
Best thing about
Denny
it,
gives you defense too.
Yeah, no, Denny's going to do it. And matter of fact, tonight Denny had 2 fouls, but he gave you 6 points, had 2 for 3 from the charity stripe, and 9 boards. Remember the other game? He had 13 boards in the game against Atlanta. So Denny doing his job in other places in the box score. Of course, something that we got to continue to monitor as we look at Toronto again, because I'm certain they're going to make adjustments. Now it's time for us to be prepared for that adjustment. This is chess, not checkers. Megan, do not move, because right now I got head coach Wes Unseld Jr. at the postgame podium, and I'm interested to hear what he has to say about tonight.
Wes, what do you think was working for you guys offensively?
You know, I thought the ball movement. You know, I think we handled the physicality pretty well. I thought we played, you know, spatially, give ourselves room to play, did a better job of our setups. You know, I thought playing downhill early opened things up for us. You know, and when you share the ball, it's been consistent all season. We're pretty good. You know, 30 assists, I think 43 field goal attempts. It's a pretty good percentage.
And how did KP look to you in his return?
He looked good. You know, didn't seem to have any residual issues or effects that would slow him down. So, you know, I think he's responded well.
Wes, is this one of the better transition defense nights your team has had all season?
Without looking at the tape, I'd probably say, given that being a strength of theirs, then yes. You know, I thought we did a good job. You know, we turned the ball over, you know, a handful, but, you know, so did they, and that's uncharacteristic for them. They're number one on both sides of it, turning teams over and taking care of the ball. So we were able to capitalize on some of their miscues.
Defensively, then, what did your team do well?
I thought our disposition on the ball was pretty good. You know, obviously, you know, the paint, they're a heavy paint team. You know, they're going to play downhill as much as they can. I think scoring 52 in the paint, it's not a terrible number, you know, considering you factor in the turnovers and, you know, the opportunities in transition. I thought we did a pretty good job one-on-one. Great job in pick and rolls. I thought the bigs were at the appropriate level. Just putting enough pressure to take them off the pull-up three without getting hurt with rolls behind our coverage.
What did you like about your bench crew tonight, Wes?
Great energy. You know, Denny, he struggled a little bit from the field, but he rebounded again tonight. And that's a big piece of this win, being able to finish defensive possessions.
Have you seen him? You've talked about kind of the confidence he's playing with and just seems to have a little bit less on his shoulders. Have you noticed that kind of sustaining through this, or is he just doing something different on court?
No, I think it's a level of confidence. I think he's not pressing. You know, maybe, you know, early in the year, you know, you're kind of vying for some minutes at times. You're worried about making an immediate impact. So you're probably pressing a little bit to make something happen. Now he's letting the game come to him.
he's still playing with a level of aggression, but he's just kind of settled into knowing that this is his role. He's comfortable in that role. And I think that's helped him, excel.
Took a timeout midway through.
Coach Wes Unseld Jr. at the post-game podium. Coach Pat Sos, when you hear him talk about the energy off the bench, at home, that's the advantage you have. You can get that energy on your home court, trying to make your push to the playoffs. How important is it for, as a coach, for the team to know that, all right, we're in the confines, we have this within our grasp?
Playing 5 games in 6 days, which they're going to do, or 7 days right there, that's good when you're playing well. That's why this win was so big. Because when you're playing well, you want to play more games. You don't have to practice as much. Your emotions are all positive and high. It's great. So that was a big win. They got to get Saturdays. They got to get another one. Well, all of a sudden you have 5, including the Bucks. You have 5 games basically in 6 days.
Yeah.
I think that's where the home court advantage can help you. I think he's saving some of the guys' legs. But he shortened his bench tonight because he knew how big this win was. I'm going to go back to that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Kuzma said, we knew as a group how big this win was. Hey, coach, we got to get this. Let's shorten the bench. This is a big one. We'll figure the rest out later. Now he's got none rested. And I was going to ask Megan, what Megan thought. Jordan Goodwin's kind of found a home out there. Kind of not doing. You're a point guard. You play in Toronto. You're a big hoopster. The college game. Megan doesn't get enough credit. I catch her doing college games. But he's like a grinder guy, right, Megan? Tell us what you think of him and how he can help down the stretch here.
Yeah, and this was something that Coach Unseld Jr. was asked about when they officially announced that they had converted his 2-way contract. He was asked, what do you now expect from Jordan Goodwin? Are you going to could we see a change in him? And he said, no, I don't think we're going to see anything different than what he has shown us already this season, even on the 2-way contract in those games. You go back and you look at what sparked this whole run from him, and that was that Memphis game. What he did to Ja Morant, getting into Ja Morant's shorts, frustrating him to the point where he had to walk off the court and go take a moment to take a breather. Jordan Goodwin is going to be Jordan Goodwin, whether he is in the G League, whether he is on a 2-way contract, whether he is a 10-year NBA veteran. At the end of the day, nothing will change when it comes to Jordan Goodwin. He is who he is, and in my opinion, that is what makes him an impactful player on this team or on any team in the NBA, because he knows what his role is. He plays within himself. He does not try to do too much. He doesn't try to go outside of himself and try to be, he's not out there trying to be Bradley Beal or Kyle Kuzma. He's trying to be the best Jordan Goodwin, and that is why he is Jordan Goodwin and why he was given this contract.
That's why we call him Goody. We appreciate it. 12 minutes tonight, 5 points, 5 boards as well, Coach.
Great rebounder in college at St. Louis. He was a great rebounder.
I'm telling you, man, I love the development of Jordan Goodwin. Again, of course, great job by Megan McPeak breaking it down for us. But, guys, you know what's about to happen on the other side. I've been teasing this all night long. Kyle Kuzma had a great night tonight, 30 points. We actually asked people about nicknames. Well, here where the conversation came from. Kyle Kuzma, one-on-one, Chris Miller, post-game live here on NBC Sports Washington. Welcome back to Wizards post-game live. After this win against the Raptors, you can see a little change in the Eastern Conference standings there. You see it in 9th seed. That's the Wizards, 30-32 on the season, 31-33. That's the Raptors record. We're both 4 games back. Interestingly enough, we will be seeing them again in just 48 hours. Saturday night, taking on the Raptors. But right now, we're about to have Corey Kispert join us, Coach. And before he gets in here, I just want to give him a little bit more flowers before we start doing our thing. 10 points, his shot. They don't draw up plays for him, Coach. He goes out and he just runs around and has to be athletic and create opportunities.
I thought his biggest shot was the 3 going into the half. We had done the Knicks game. The Knicks had come back, and then it scares you going in the second half. By the way, the Knicks red hot, so that was a close loss that we will get them when we have our chance. You saw those standings. Those Nets and Hawks are a little fragile there. We'll just leave that at that. I thought Kispert's 3 at the end of the half, which put him back up 7 and then to 9, that's huge. His 3 on the break when it was back to a 6, 7, 8-point gain. I thought he really improved from last year to this year. He just got hurt. People forget he got hurt a little. He went to Japan. He hurt his ankle, couldn't play. Took him a little while. He's starting to evolve into a better player besides shooting threes. I did text Mark Few tonight. I said, this guy's had 100 threes 2 years in a row. First got to do it. First 2 years as a rookie in the second year. continue to get better. He's a little scrappy on defense. He's never going to be a defensive stopper. You have Denny for that. But he's gotten better and will continue to get better.
Absolutely, as we are now joined by Megan and Corey. Courtside, well, not actually technically courtside, but you're near a basketball court. I'll leave it at that. All right, guys, excited to see you. So, Corey, appreciate you taking time. Megan, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Wes. So, Corey, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you're the first Wizards player in franchise history to have back-to-back 100-plus three-point seasons. Just talk about, first of all, your rookie season, you passed Brad for the three-point rookie, and now this season you've hit 100-plus threes again. Just talk about your work ethic and what goes into it, because there's times where, you know, it's tough. It's a tough shooting night, and you continue to shoot the ball. Your teammates continue to find you.
Yeah, the key is not to get too high or too low, right? No matter if you have a good game or a bad game, you got to keep doing what you're learning, staying in the process, and the ball kind of almost shoots itself, you know, at that point. You put in a bunch of work, and you got to trust your work. And, you know, shots go in and shots don't. But it also speaks to just how, like, available I've been. I've been healthy, and that's it's a blessing from God. And I'm happy to have played all these games and stayed healthy throughout them and given me a chance to even get close to that mark.
Really quickly talking about the health, because the season for you, it started tough with your leg injury.
Yeah.
You missed the beginning of the season, but since then you mentioned you've been available. Just talk about the mental fortitude it took to just fight through the rehab, deal with that, and then continue to also keep yourself healthy throughout the season, knowing how tough this season has been with the road trips and whatnot.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do. A lot of injury is, you know, out of your control, right? I can't control if I step on someone's foot and roll my ankle, but basketball is what I love to do, and not playing sucks. So I'm just really thankful that I'm back out there again and played a bunch of games in a row. And you know, the guys in the locker room kind of helped me stay involved, and I was out there as much as I could, and being involved on the bench and being an active participant as a teammate is kind of ways that you can stay involved, especially when you're hurt.
So I have an interesting question, and I'm going to tie in your love for golf with this, because when we were watching the game tonight, Chris and Drew were talking about your ability to cut to the basket without the ball. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I wonder if the way he sees the golf course, if that has any thought process in how you see the basketball floor with the way you cut.
Yeah, it kind of maps, you map things out, right? You kind of see things before they happen. You got to anticipate and visualize. And thankfully, I've played with these guys for a long, long time now. And a lot of them are, I can kind of predict what they're going to do before they do it. And that really helps cutting and helps, you know, kind of seeing things before they, seeing things before they happen. And, you know, anytime I can get underneath the rim and get easy points, I'm going to take it.
So I got to ask a fun one before I let you go. When you warm up, you rock, as of late at least, this nice little man bun. And then it goes away for the game. Are we ever going to see the man bun in the game?
You will never, ever, ever see the man bun in the game, and I promise you that. But it's, you know, we wear the same clothes to warm up every day, and we travel, and our routine's the same, and I wanted to change something up. It's a good little touch, and, you know, I'm learning how to, I'm learning from my sister and my fiance and other people how to tie buns now. It's awesome.
I love it. Corey, congrats to you guys on the win. You see the same team again in less than 48 hours. Thank you for joining me. Get some rest, and congrats on the W.
Of course, Megan. Thanks.
Wes?
Megan, we appreciate that. Thank you guys very much for that great interview right there. Well, speaking of interviews, on the other side of the break, Kyle Kuzma, one-on-one with Chris Miller coming up. And by the way, don't forget, I got Coach Jimmy Patsos here with me. If you think we're not going to the film room, you better think twice, young sir. Or young lady, or whoever's listening now. No, seriously, we got all this and more coming up on PostGame Live, back on NBC Sports Washington. Welcome back to Wizards Post-Game Live. Kuzmania, Kuz Control, Clutch Kuz. Which nickname does he like? Well, you're going to have to hear for yourself as he sit down with our very own Chris Miller in a one-on-one exclusive.
I want people to kind of get into how you perceive kind of yourself, your style, and how you have created your brand.
Well, that's a great question. I've just always been like naturally like a hustler. Ever since I've grown up, just trying to figure it out, growing up poor, trying to make money, trying to get money to ride the bus, trying to, work at McDonald's. I've done it all. And, I think I just understand, kind of what works and what people kind of like. And, for me, my brand is really just authentic. It's just, because it's who I am. Like everything that's out there about me, it's stuff that I'm passionate about, and I really do. So.
How many plays are called for you in a game? I'm curious, like
plays?
A play set for Kuz. How many actually
truly,
in a game?
Probably, realistically, just depends.
Because I feel like a lot of years...
I'm not going to say 0, but it is close to that.
Because I do feel like you just get it off the rim and then you
yeah, I mean, it just all depends. Like, you know, if we have a full roster, definitely 0. If we don't have a full roster, a couple more. But I mean, for the most part, I just play basketball. You know, I get it off the rim, I go, or if I got the ball, I kind of just, you know, try to find a mismatch, and you know, I try to, you know, I'm kind of essentially my own type of engine. You know, I kind of just play the game, you know, and you know, it works for me.
So I want to ask you about defense.
Yeah.
Do you think you're a really good defender?
Oh, for sure.
And what makes you a good defender?
I'm smart. Yeah, I watch basketball. I think that's the #1 thing. You know, I think to be a good defender, you have to know who you're playing. You have to know what the other player is trying to get to. And I've took a lot of strides, you know, since coming into the NBA. When I first came in, I was a cone on defense. Like, anybody could go by me, and I used to get picked on every game. First 2 years in the league was really, really rough because, you know, once you get that MO that you can't guard, it's just like, all right, bring him up and everything. We're going to target him, and we're going to get him out the game because he won't be able to play today. But, you know, after a while, you get tired of that. You want to, you know, be on the court. And one way to be on the court is to make sure you can play defense against all positions. And after my 3rd year, I think I took really, really big strides. And, you know, now it's just, you know, really kind of guard 1 through 5, really. You know, outside of maybe like, you know, super strong 5-man, but I'm comfortable anywhere.
Kyle Kuzma one-on-one with Chris Miller as we take a look at our FanDuel best bets of the night, where you make every moment more. If you were to come in tonight saying Bradley Beal was going to have three or more three-point field goals tonight, that was a plus 250. A $10 bet would have won you $25. How about Kyle Kuzma leading the way as a top scorer at plus 500? A $10 bet would have won you $50. And DeLon Wright doing his job on offense, starting at point guard tonight with 8 or more assists at plus 750. A $10 bet would have won you $75. Coach Patsos, you already know how I feel about Kyle Kuzma leading the way. We already know about the fact that the Wizards are 13-7 when Kyle Kuzma is the leading scorer on the night. But one of the things that he mentioned in that piece that I was absolutely just marveling at, defense. He is a student of the game, and he understands the priority of playing defense. Everybody can score unless you play defense.
I'm going to keep this quick. He plays defense. He plays both ends. He's always sweating. He's a hard-playing dude, and you don't get that from me if you don't play both ends. I've been very impressed watching him up close, how hard he plays on both ends.
Megan, you're there in the arena, so you can hear his in-game communication with his teammates, not so much on offense, but on defense. What are you hearing that reveals so much of that high basketball IQ?
I mean, he talks on both ends of the floor. And I think when we had him mic'd up, that was, and I said it to you, that was probably the best insight that fans could get, because you don't realize how much communication actually happens on the floor, not just defensively, but offensively. But as well, too, Kuz was able to show his basketball IQ with the way he was communicating with his teammates and, you know, directing traffic and directing the defense and whatnot. So I just think I'm always impressed by the way he sees the game. And Coach is right. When I get walk-offs with him, he's usually hands on the knees, keeled over, like trying to catch his breath, which is why I usually like take a second and just let him catch his breath before I ask him anything.
All out.
No, he's showing how hard he plays. That's from playing chasing guys.
That's what
I liked when he was mic'd up too, Megan. You saw him getting everybody matched up. It's not just about his defense, it's about the team defense.
Correct.
It's all about team. Team, T-E-A-M. Ain't no I in team. Even though if you ask certain people, they'll figure a way to put a me in there. But it is what it is. Megan, don't move. I've got to remind people, new customers, right now you can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. So right now, why don't you download the FanDuel app wherever you download your apps and make every moment more. Coming up on the other side, we've got the film room featuring Daniel Gafford. I got Coach Patsos here helping me out. I got Coach Joseph Blair mic'd up tonight. I got a lot of stuff left for you. Don't move. PostGame Live back in a moment. Welcome back to PostGame Live. Hey, Wiz kids, you already know what's up. The day after the Wizards score 115 or more points, you can get 50% off regular menu price pizzas at papajohns.com with the code WIZ50. So use it and make use of that benefit of the Wizards giving you a dub tonight, along with those 115 points. But earlier in the show, Coach Patsos talked about players being mic'd up. Well, what about an assistant coach who, at one point last year, actually coached one of those games? But guess what? Joseph Blair mic'd up tonight. A treat here on NBC Sports Washington.
Oh, man, look at that. Well, I couldn't get no better than that. Look at it. We got towels on all the seats, cherry blossomed up. What day is it?
Game day.
Come on, girl. Here we go. Oh, how we doing? Good to see you. Daniel. So here's my question. Before I say anything tonight, what do you think the focuses are?
We guys open.
And then vertical at the rim all night. Yep. Vertical rim all night. God bless. Let's do this. I still got bounce. I just look like I don't. Here we go. Let's go. Space, space, space. Box, box. Oh, come on now. Good dribble through. Yeah, D right. There we go. Yeah, KP. Let's go, get in front. Good take, good take. Gav, watch him stack. Stack. Good pass. Great pass, Corey. Good hit, man. Bingo. Great job, good eight. Yeah, Cruz. Let's go. Wide, get wide. Give me that. All right, buddy. Yeah, D right. Pinch. That's us. Good hands, yep. Set it. Yeah, good. Yeah, good, hey. Get on it. And one, A to B. Drop, gap. Yeah, gap. Load. Get a good one. Yeah, Cruz.
Hey, Coach Blair got me turned up. I'm ready to go play right now. Can we mic you up for a game, Coach?
Yeah, not my first couple of years of coaching. After that, maybe, but not my first couple of years. He's part of the Arizona basketball family that he wears that proud on his sleeve, right? Tommy Lloyd, I texted him about Kispert's thing. You can tell Coach Blair has certain relationships that are really strong, but clearly he has made a huge impact on Gafford.
Yes.
In other words, Megan, you got any insight? It's not just the computer, and you can feel their relationship and how well Gafford's playing and how happy he is to see that.
So JB is one of the development guys. That's what he's known for with regards to his coaching career. He's a great development guy, but he's also just plain and period, one of the nicest and most humble human beings. So his genuine attitude towards the players and the staff, that's who he is on and off the floor. But don't get it twisted. JB can turn up with the best of them, especially if you put him in between the 94 feet. I've seen it.
I love the edge.
Played for Lute Olson.
Look. When she talks about him being, what do they call, salt of the earth? Yes. Joe Blair, nicest guy in the world, and he's big too, so a lot I have to learn from him as well. On the other side, though, Daniel Gafford, the landlord. Today is the 2nd of the month. You know, you get the first 5 days to pay your rent, right? Well, rent's due, and we're jumping in the film room with the landlord in a moment. Coach Patsos, the people want the film room. Give the people the film room.
Look, Gafford's so important to this team. We saw it when he wasn't available against the Knicks, as Chris Miller keeps pointing out about foul trouble. This is 3 games in a row. Look at him run on the break. You know, this is an athletic guy. One hand catch, well, that's why he was the athlete of the year and the player of the year in Arkansas. Remember, he spent 2 years in college. But that's run on the break for a big guy running faster than the guards. This is the play I like. See, Kuz draws the defense, gets 2 on him, 2 on you, but it's another good finish inside. That's what Coach Blair's talking about, vertical. That's what he was talking about. Go straight up vertical, then make the shot. Now this is just classic Gafford. You better watch out when he's down, because he elevates, got long arms, and you think, but the vertical to the rim is going up, and then so you're on balance. That's what Coach Blair was teaching him. And he's really getting better at finishing. And they didn't show my highlight when he stole the ball. He ran the break, and he dumped it for a layup. This guy's but he is playing his best basketball at the right time. Chris Miller has a point. Sometimes you got to let a couple of buckets go. Don't foul out because you're so important down this critical stretch. You're a critical part of this critical stretch. We need you, Gaff. We love you. We're proud of you. And he's your biggest fan.
You already know, man. Past 2 games, he's only had 3 fouls. And, of course, that emphatic dunk right there. And you talk about starting the break. I know that's going to be the first thing on his highlight reel. Yeah, he can handle the break. Here he is in the post-game locker room right now.
What was working for you guys offensively tonight?
Offensively, we stayed poised. You know, that's a great team that kind of like tries to speed teams up. You know, they play in the nail, they play in the passing lanes all the time and stuff. We just had to make sure we was kind of locked in on just like the execution side of it. You know, not letting guys rush us into anything, playing physical, and just meeting their, you know, intensity on the offensive end. So once we got to that point, it was all good for us.
What was that sequence like for you when you threw down 2 alley-oops? I think it was in exactly a 30-second span.
I know, it was dope. You know, I mean, I'm always here for catching lobs and stuff, and I always say dunking is therapeutic. So, I mean, I'm always happy when I'm on the other end of it, you know. And for it just to happen back-to-back, you know, those are energy plays. And having momentum like that, you know, going into a timeout is dope, you know. And back in my Arkansas days, all you would hear is Wood doing the hall call in the stands and stuff. And it just always kind of like reminds me of something like that, you know, just having that momentum, having the energy, you know, the other team calls the timeout, coming around, you know, high-fiving each other and stuff, and just having fun with the game. That's the main thing about it.
I know I've probably asked you a version of this before, but the one that Denny threw up to you, did you surprise yourself at all that you were able to throw that down?
No, he even asked in the locker room. He was asking, did I throw it to her? I was like, no, that was perfect. You know, I always love catching like lobs with one hand and stuff, kind of like testing my athleticism because, you know, I never know what I'm going to do day in, day out. You know, like I said, I do surprise myself sometimes, with especially like, you know, when you ask the question, it's just like every other day, you know, it's a crazy dunk for me. So just put that in my goodie bag of crazy dunks that I've had over my basketball career. You know, another one of the bunch.
I love the fact that he celebrates. You're a real one right there. You're a real one right there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The work in progress. See, this is what you get on PostGame Live. Our people take care of us. For that point, matter of fact, Megan, you get to go first. How do the Wizards get ready to go ahead and take on Toronto on Saturday evening? The floor is yours.
The biggest thing is you've got to clean up the turnovers. I know they did a pretty decent job tonight, especially in the second half, but I would like to see them do an even better job than what we saw in this game tonight on Saturday as well. If you can clean up the turnovers, try to limit yourselves, because then they can't get out in transition. They got a lot of their points in transition, and I know Fred VanVleet is dealing with, you know, the shooting slump pre-All-Star break and post-All-Star break, but you don't want to be the team that sets him off.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to be that team. So if you can contain him as well, too, and keep him in check, I think it would bode well. But turnovers, for me, are going to be the biggest thing.
I appreciate that. I want to take a quick look at the Eastern Conference standings real quick for Wizards fans at home who weren't able to see the adjustment that has been made with this win tonight. You already know we got the dub, so that gave us 30 on the season. Now we slide into 9th place with 30 wins to their 31-33 record tonight. So again, we'll see them on Saturday at 5 o'clock for a rematch. But now Coach Patsos in said rematch. One of the things I think we haven't talked about tonight was the fact that Toronto only hit 9 for 33 threes. They were 27% from deep. And as Megan has said, you can't expect a team to just not shoot good every night of the season. How do the Wizards prepare to fight off what you know Toronto's going to want to try to exploit? Which is
the first thing is we're going to watch videotape as a staff and say we're going to continue to go inside. We just had Gafford in there. You know, the Twin Towers act was working defensively. I would be concerned about Toronto's bench. Boucher had 12. Precious Achiuwa barely played. I said Jeff Downs not here. Well, Gary Trent's really, I mean, he's really good. And he can go off. And they were low. And usually in that second game, you know, the bench knows they didn't play so well. They're going to come out feisty, fiery, and try to play much better. So I would circle the bench and say, expect a better game from them. As for VanVleet, whatever's going on with him, we feel bad. I hope everything's okay. He's not shooting the ball well. that can change in a minute. Megan's right. You don't want to wake him up too much, you know.
Right.
But I like DeLon Wright and Goodwin's physicality and size on him. But just, we're playing well. Let's keep playing. Let's get off to a good start. And like Miami did to us, we went down there and they beat us both games. We have to do this to them. It's our turn now. And you saw the standings. It's a critical time. But that's a great time. It's great to play really meaningful basketball.
That's what it's all about, Coach. You see, Coach gave us some more Coach speak right here in postgame.
Fired up.
You got me fired up. Coach Blair's got us mic'd up and fired up. This is what it's all about. Let's all just take this moment and hold on to it, because we got 48 hours. We're going to see the Raptors on the court once again. Megan, thanks so much for hanging out. Great job, as always, on behalf of our great crew and staff here at NBC Sports Washington. For Megan McPeak, for the coach, Jimmy Patsos, and Daniel Gapp for dunking on everybody in the 202. I'm Wes Hall. Have a great night. We'll see you Saturday, 5 o'clock for Wizards. Pre-game live for Wizards Raptors once again.